Hi, I'm Colleen from MVP Therapy and Sports Medicine, here with Bronson from PR Run and Walk. We're here to talk about shoe choice and how it affects your foot health. So your shoes are actually very important in affecting not only the health of your feet and preventing injuries, or they can actually cause injuries, but they can also then go up the chain and affect your knees, your hips, and your back. So I'm just going to show you really quick. I have what's called flat feet or low arches. And I'm going to show you how that can affect up the chain. So right here you'll see, if you look at the inside of my feet, my arch basically touches the ground. If I had a shoe that was unsupported, then if you look here, when I stand, my knees are actually going to do what's called knock in or have valgus. They're going to go in towards each other, which is going to put a lot of stress on my knee, a lot of stress on my hip, and then all the way up and going to affect my back. So for something as severe as this, I'm going to need to have an arch support as well as a shoe. That arch support is going to give me a little bit of an arch. And then I'm going to choose a shoe that has a little bit of a buildup on the inside to give me a little bit more support for that arch. For someone with a high arch, they're going to be domed like this, and it's really important for them to have support for that arch so that they aren't putting unnecessary stress in that arch or eventually having a collapse of that arch if it's unsupported. I know a lot of things Bronson's talked about, people come in and they're running, and a lot of times people wear too tight of a shoe. Right? You said you were seeing that. And too tight of a shoe is going to cause problems like bunions, other kind of toe injuries. People with unsupported shoes can end up with things like plantar fasciitis. So it's really important to find the right kind of shoe for the condition of your foot. Now, if you're having real issues with your feet or foot pain, it's important you go to a specialist. So a podiatrist, a foot orthopedist, or a physical therapist can help you determine what's going on with your feet and the best solution for that. But just for general knowledge of shoe and shoe fit and getting some good information, a store like PR Run and Walk has some great specialized equipment that Bronson's going to show us that can help you kind of determine a good shoe for you.
All right, perfect. We've got it.
So can we have the camera?
All right, so first thing we're going to look at will be the dynamic scan. So we see, we have the ability to see the foot in motion. So this really just shows us how the foot is engaging with the ground. Are we seeing any high pressures, and if so, where are those high pressures centrally located? And more often than not, this will really help us identify any potential aches and pains, potential hot spots, things like that could occur during movement. I know we mentioned a little earlier about having a lower arch, but what we're seeing on the left foot here is, a very defined heel pressure, very defined forefoot pressure, but we're not seeing a lot of contact in this area. On the right foot, we're seeing a much more defined, very recognizable footprint. This could mean a lot of different things, but it looks like the left foot could be a little bit more rigid, not quite as flexible. So there again, these are all going to be things that we take into consideration when we start looking for shoes to kind of fit this foot shape. We're going to go back to the actual static scan. We get a nice little 3D model here of the foot that we can look at in a variety of different angles. We see overall foot length, and I want to just kind of elaborate here just a little bit more. Foot length, not shoe size. We also see two different measurements, a 9 and a 9.5. Very few people are going to be perfectly symmetrical, if any. So we're always going to see variations between left and right. Most people would look at this number and think they would wear a 9.5. That's not the case. If we put this person into a 9.5, their foot would essentially be wedged in the shoe. That inherently would create a state of tension, and no one wants to be in a constant state of tension all the time. So it could also lead to a lot of other overall foot health and wellness issues that could, as we've already discussed earlier, kind of lead all the way up that kinetic chain, so to speak. But there's a variety of other measurements that we also look at. Arch height, we're able to take a closer look at that. We can look at each foot individually. And we talked about earlier when we were looking at the right foot that we did have a very low to no arch on that side. And as we were kind of seeing, it could also lead to a lot of other overall foot health and wellness issues that could, as we've already discussed earlier, kind of lead all the way up that kinetic chain, so to speak. But there's a variety of other measurements that we also look at. Arch height, we're able to take a closer look at that. We can look at each foot individually. We are able to do a kind of a 2D gait analysis where we can also take a look at a person's mechanics and also alignment as far as when they're running. A lot of people have terms that they hear about overpronation or underpronation, and a lot of times people don't necessarily know what that means, but maybe a friend told them that they overpronate and they need a shoe with a lot of support, and that may or may not be true. A lot of times people say things and they don't really know the meaning, so we can there again kind of take a closer look and be able to determine what that actual gait looks like in a shoe. So part of our process.
Yeah, and I think you would agree that a lot of people don't know how often they should change out their shoes too. People are wearing their shoes for much too long and not replacing them soon enough. So even if it was a good supportive shoe when you first bought it, if you wear that shoe for too long, then it can lose that support. So it's important to look at kind of the wear of your shoe, and when you're seeing noticeable significant wear in the shoe, to think about replacing that shoe so that you can continue to have the benefits of a good shoe. So Ronta, I just wanted to thank you for letting me come and have this discussion and let everyone know about their shoes.